Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jen, and today I wanted to tell you some migraine stories because I feel like, one, of course they're very entertaining, but two, it's stuff that you can only get from people who are willing to share these stories, so I feel like that makes it so it's educational in a way that facts can't be. Today I'm gonna give you guys some embarrassing things that Migraine Jen said while I was very confused going through brain fog and other neurological problems. We'll start at number 5, which I found the least shocking, and then we will work our way down to number 1. It's a little bit embarrassing, but I think it's important to share because migraine's not just a headache. You can have a lot of other neurological problems. Clearly, I'm with it. I'm very smart. I was a biochemist before I was sick, and these are really dumb things for me to say. I'm gonna put it that way. That's a rude thing to say to myself, but I get dumb sometimes, so let's get into it. I am so excited for this one. Now, unfortunately, there is some construction going on outside, so I apologize if some noises come in and out a lot. That's nothing I can really do about that. Also, I wanted to show you my dress. Today is my and my husband's wedding anniversary, and I wanted to wear a dress, but I'm on a monitor right now, a heart monitor, an ECG. So I need to have these electrodes attached to me all the time, and of course there are wires. And usually the wires go to the little device and I keep the device in my pocket. And I was trying to figure out, how am I gonna wear a dress for our anniversary? Like, I wanna look cute and be dressed up and whatever. So I picked this dress because there's a hole in the back that my wires can come out of. And then I just have to wear this satchel, which is weird, but I'll take it. It happens. I'm trying to decide if I wanna stay here or if I wanna head to my desk. Let's go to my desk. Yeah, let's do that. Maybe I can take off this now. Oh, that's nice. Throughout this video, I'm going to refer to me during a migraine as simply Migraine Jen. I know that's really weird to do, but it's a lot faster than for me to say, oh yeah, so then when I was having my migraine, I was blah, blah, blah. Because I am honestly two totally different people during and not during a migraine, so it just makes it a lot easier to have Jen and Migraine Jen. That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're doing here. It's done. I am gonna start at number 5 and work my way down to number 1. Save the best for last, of course. Let's do it. Number 5, silverware. I'm a very productive person. I really enjoy keeping busy, and that's no different for Migraine Jen. Basically, anytime I'm gonna be pushing myself to my limit, not over my limit, but I do try to keep busy when I have a migraine, and I try to stay as independent as I can. There was a morning that I woke up with a migraine and my husband was emptying the dishwasher and I wanted to help. Since I have POTS, I can't really stand up for very long, so we took a bar stool that we have at our countertop and we brought it over to the silverware drawer so that I could have the drawer open and have the baskets of silverware up on the counter, and I could, at my own pace, just put all the silverware away. It's a perfect activity for Migraine Jen. I can be really quiet with the silverware, not be bothered by the noise. But I guess Migraine Jen wasn't really feeling up for it this day because I looked at the silverware and I was like, there's so much silverware that it's just overwhelming. The silverware is overwhelming. There were probably like, what, 20 pieces of silverware? It's just my husband and I. So yeah, that was weird. That's number 5. Number 4, my husband and I went on a trip. And on this trip, we were taking this big hike up a hill to get to this castle thing. There was this destination at the top of the hill. We knew that I was getting a migraine, but we decided to go ahead with it anyway. And when we got some of the way up the hill, I'm honestly not sure how far up, my husband caught me looking down at my hands like this. And he asked me what I was doing, and Migraine Jen said, I'm just counting my hands to make sure I didn't forget any. Don't you think that's kind of sad? It's a little bit sad. Later on the same hike, we were getting really close to the top of the hill, and I don't know if I was declining and complaining or if my husband was just saying it to say it, but he said, we're almost there. And I said, oh, we're almost to the car? And he said, no, we're almost to the top. And I said, oh, we're almost to the car to get my shoes? What? We were on a hike. I was wearing shoes. We were going to a castle. Why would I think that we're going to the car to get my shoes? What? Number 3. Picture this. We're at home. We're in the living room. We're watching TV. Migraine Jen has to pee. I get up. I go to the bathroom. Well, to like the room that is the bathroom. I walk in like 1 or 2 feet. Absolutely just start sobbing. Sobbing in a dark room, just crying my eyes out. My husband from the other room goes, "Is everything okay, Jen?" And I said, "It's dark in here." And he goes, "Light switch." Migraine Jen, click. Oh my gosh, that's so much better. Yeah, I cried. I cried because it was dark and I didn't know how to make it not dark. I didn't think about maybe turning around and going back to where it was light. I just stood there in the dark and cried. That's very bizarre because I'm a pretty hardy person. I feel like I get spooked pretty easily, but I don't usually cry when I'm spooked. That was weird. I'm gonna give you guys a little bonus for number 3. There was a time that I wanted to sit at the kitchen table for whatever, and the chair was pushed in. I got within 5-6 feet of the chair and just stood there staring at it, and then started crying kind of out of frustration. So my husband came in. Of course, he's comforting me and wondering why I'm crying, and I told him that I was crying because the chair was pushed in. Or it might have been because the chair was pulled out. I didn't like something about the chair, and I was really confused about how I could get the chair out from the table and sit in it, but then have it still be pushed in to the table so that I could be sitting at the table. Does that make sense? Like, I didn't quite understand how I could put the chair back in while I was sitting in it. But it also sounds like maybe I didn't quite understand how to get the chair out so that I could sit down in the first place. So I just got really overwhelmed and I broke down. Before I get to number 2 and number 1, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. You know you don't want to miss any more of this weird. And also, if you have any hilarious migraine stories or migraine quotes, please share them in the comments. Number 2. I don't find this one quite as mind-blowing as number 1, but if we're being completely honest, it's actually my favorite migraine quote of all time. My poor husband has been through too much. Wait till you see number 1. Number 1 is the worst thing that I think a spouse can ever hear. But this one in particular, it just shows the level of confusion. Setting the scene, it was nighttime. Migraine Jen was putting her PJs on, and of course, as you guys know, I have POTS. So I put on some compression socks for the afternoon, and I put on my underwear. If you imagine compression socks up to the knee and underwear, all that's showing at that point is like my thighs to my knee. For some reason, when I was in my migraine state, I thought that that counted as pants. It kind of makes a little bit of sense to me because it was covering up more leg than like shorts would or boxer PJs would, but obviously that doesn't count as pants. So I was really confused. I was staring at my legs. My husband, of course, he's so attentive. My husband is the real MVP. He comes over to me and he asks, "Hey, everything all right?" And I told him, "You know, I'm already wearing small pants and I'm really confused about if I need big pants." He said, "Yes, you need big pants." I said, "With my small pants? Like, am I supposed to keep my underwear on when I put my PJs on?" That kind of question. Yeah, I know that there are some people who go commando at night, but I'm not one of them. I've always worn small pants and big pants to work, to bed, and also to work, of course. This night, I just didn't quite understand it. And I think that it was the compression socks being halfway up my leg that really put the nail in the coffin and got me too confused. I think my husband deserves a thumbs up, not just because he has stuck with me through all of this crap, but also because he's doing it with so much love and kindness and understanding in his heart. He's always there for me when this crazy stuff happens. I'm blessed beyond measure, and that brings me to number 1, probably the most heartbreaking thing that he has ever heard from me, and that is that I didn't remember him. So, number 1. Very sad, but I saved it for the end because it is the most heavy-hitting, and I think it really shows the gravity of how bad migraines can get. All the other stories, of course, are bad, but they don't have that emotional hit that this last one does. I was having a particularly bad vestibular migraine, and I was sitting down on the floor, sort of just by the doorway to the bathroom. My husband came into the room to comfort me, as he always does, and he saw me curled up in a ball on the floor with my knees up in front of me, just kind of crying and crying. He asks me if there's anything that I need, if there's anything that he can do. Just to be perfectly clear on the situation, at this point we had been dating for 6 years, living together for 5, married for probably 2 years. So this guy's obviously not a stranger, but somehow that night I didn't recognize him. And when he asked me if there was anything that he could do for me or anything that I needed, I told him that I didn't feel like it was safe for me to drive home, and I asked him if I could spend the night. I told him that I didn't really remember who he was, but that I knew that I could trust him because I recognized him from my wedding. I knew that he was at my wedding, and I knew that I only had trusted people at my wedding. So Migraine Jen concluded that he was a safe person to stay the night with, and I knew that I couldn't drive. I have to say I'm very proud of Migraine Jen for making a good judgment call, but it's still very chilling that I forgot my husband, forgot my home, forgot who he was in the wedding, the most important person in the wedding to me. I can't believe that I said that to him, and I really hope that it didn't hurt his heart too much. I'm very slightly regretting ending on that note. I feel like maybe I should have ended on small pants because it's a bit funnier, and then we wouldn't have to leave each other on this heavy note. But I think instead what we can take from this is I'm so lucky to have my husband. Today is our 4-year wedding anniversary, so we're going to be celebrating that today after I finish editing this video. And I'm super excited to see you guys again next week. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss anything. Thumbs up this video for my husband, and comment below your own migraine stories. Thanks guys, thanks for joining.